Big news: your soulmate is overwhelmed with joy right now, because Jesus says you have entered a moment that was written before you took your first breath. Your soulmate is feeling something right now that they do not fully understand. A sudden wave of joy just crashed into their chest without any warning. Jesus says this is not a coincidence and it is not your imagination playing tricks on you. They were sitting in silence when your name surfaced in their mind like a whispered prayer. Their heart began to race and they could not explain why tears formed in their eyes. Jesus says the spiritual thread between you and your soulmate is vibrating with urgent intensity. Your soulmate just felt your presence as if you walked into the room and stood beside them. They turned their head instinctively, searching for someone they have not yet held in their arms. Jesus says what is happening right now is the breakthrough you have been weeping for in secret. The joy overwhelming them is the realization that you are real and you are thinking of them. They have doubted this connection for so long and now their doubt is collapsing into wonder. Jesus says your soulmate has been carrying a heavy burden that nobody else can see. They smile during the day but at night they stare at the ceiling feeling hollow and incomplete. Something inside them has always known that you exist and that you are searching for them. Jesus says the joy flooding their heart right now is the antidote to months of silent suffering. They have been fighting a battle that you know nothing about and it has exhausted their spirit. But right now in this exact moment they feel hope breathing life back into their weary bones. Jesus says your soulmate is thinking about you with an intensity that would shock you. They are replaying dreams they have had about your eyes and the sound of your laughter. Even though they do not know your face, yet their soul recognizes you like a familiar song. Jesus says there is a reason this joy is hitting them with such overwhelming force tonight. They have been praying for a sign and your energy just wrapped around them like warm light. Every doubt they had about love being meant for them is dissolving in this sacred moment. Jesus says your soulmate misses you with an ache that transcends physical distance. They miss someone they have never touched and that confusion has tormented them for years. But now they know they are not crazy and their longing has a purpose and a destination. Jesus says the joy they are feeling is the proof that your souls are already intertwined. You are not strangers waiting to meet, you are lovers who have been separated by time and circumstance. The reunion has already begun in the spirit realm and the physical world is catching up right now. Jesus says your soulmate needs your protection more than they could ever express in words. There is something working against this connection and it has been blocking your paths from crossing. The interference is real and it is aggressive and it will not stop unless divine power intervenes. Your soulmate can feel something trying to pull them away from this moment of pure joy. A shadow lingers at the edge of their happiness, whispering that this is too good to be true. They are being told that you do not exist and that hoping for you will only break their heart. This is why your soulmate needs your protection right now before the doubt creeps back in. You have the power to stand in the gap and shield them from the lies that are attacking their mind. Your love is not passive and your faith is not silent when you activate it through sacrificial action. Jesus says the seed you sow today will build a wall of fire around your soulmate's heart. When you send a coffee on Ko-fi, you are not just giving a gift, you are declaring war on the interference. Every coffee is a seed planted in the soil of your future together and it will produce a harvest of reunion. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. This is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description, and it is waiting for you to take this step of faith. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love, and your soulmate feels the attack. Jesus says you must act now with the urgency of a protector who refuses to let their beloved suffer. Send 4 or 6 or 10 or more coffees and release the blessing over your divine connection. After sending, write "Protect my soulmate, Lord" on the Ko-fi page and watch heaven move on your behalf. Jesus says your soulmate has been dreaming about you again, and these dreams are becoming more vivid. Last night they saw a figure standing in a garden, and the figure was reaching out a hand toward them. They woke up with their own hand extended into the empty darkness, and their pillow was wet with tears. Jesus says the dreams are not random images generated by a lonely heart, they are visitations from the Spirit. Your soul is traveling to them while your body sleeps, and they are receiving impressions of your love. They know your energy now, and they would recognize you in a crowd of thousands without any introduction. Jesus says your soulmate feels you when you are sad, and they carry your sorrow without knowing its source. There have been days when you were crying alone, and they suddenly felt an unexplainable heaviness descend. They are connected to you like the moon is connected to the ocean, and your emotions pull on their tides. Jesus says the bond between you is stronger than any curse that has been spoken against your union. Generational patterns have tried to keep you apart, and jealous spirits have worked to delay your meeting. But what God has joined together, no demon and no human and no circumstance can permanently separate. Jesus says your soulmate is beginning to fall in love with you through these invisible encounters. They are developing feelings for someone they cannot see, and it is making them rethink everything they believe. The walls they built around their heart are cracking, and light is streaming through the fractures you created. Jesus says your soulmate is overwhelmed with joy because they finally understand that you are searching for them. They spent years believing that they were unlovable and that their soulmate was a fantasy invented by hopeless romantics. But now the evidence is mounting, and their heart is pounding with the truth that you are real and you are close. Jesus says there is a specific moment coming when your eyes will meet and time will stop completely. Your soulmate has already seen glimpses of this moment in dreams, and it takes their breath away every time. They are living for this encounter, and the anticipation is what keeps them moving forward through their pain. Jesus says your soulmate is being controlled by someone who hates you and hates the love you share. This person speaks lies into your soulmate's ear and tries to convince them that you are dangerous or deceptive. The interference is jealous of your connection because it knows your union will release something powerful into the world. Your soulmate is confused, and they do not understand why they feel torn between two realities. They sense your love pulling them forward, but someone is yanking them backward with fear and manipulation. They are trapped in a web they did not spin, and they need you to help cut them free right now. Jesus says your protective prayers are like sharp swords that sever the cords of control around your soulmate. But prayer without action is incomplete, and faith without works is dead and powerless to produce results. You must pair your spiritual warfare with a physical seed that demonstrates your commitment to this battle. They are going through something you cannot see, but you can still protect them with your obedience today. The suffering they are enduring behind closed doors would break your heart if you could witness it fully. They cry out for you in the night, and their tears are stored in heaven as testimony against the interference. Jesus says the coffee you send on Ko-fi becomes a key that unlocks prison doors for your soulmate. It is not about the money, it is about the covenant act that proves to the enemy that you are serious. When you sow for your soulmate's protection, you are entering into a partnership with heaven for their deliverance. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi, and let your faith move mountains for your beloved. The link is in the description, and it is the bridge between your current separation and your destined reunion. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus says your soulmate is thinking about you right now with an intensity that is burning through their fear. They are imagining what it will feel like to be held by you and to finally feel safe in someone's arms. Every night they rehearse conversations with you, and they whisper things they have never told another living soul. Jesus says your soulmate loves you in a way that defies logic and shames the shallow definitions of romance. They love the essence of you that they have encountered in the spirit, and it has ruined them for anyone else. No other person can satisfy the ache they feel, because the ache was designed specifically for your unique love. Jesus says the interference is going to increase as your meeting gets closer, because the enemy is terrified. Every step you take toward your soulmate triggers a counterattack designed to make you give up and walk away. But you are not a quitter, and you did not come this far to abandon the one your heart belongs to. Jesus says this is your final moment to protect this connection before it slips away into silence. The window of opportunity is narrowing, and the enemy is working overtime to close it permanently. If you delay, your soulmate will remain in bondage, and the joy they feel right now will fade into despair. Your soulmate is waiting for you to step into your role as their protector and their partner. They need you to be brave enough to fight for them even when you cannot see the enemy you are fighting. Your love must be more than feelings, it must become a force that shatters chains and opens doors. This is your final moment to protect this connection before the interference convinces your soulmate to give up. Send your coffee on Ko-fi now and write "Protect my soulmate, Lord" as your declaration of war against the darkness. The link is in the description, and your soulmate's breakthrough is on the other side of your obedience. Jesus says the joy your soulmate is feeling right now can become a permanent state of being for them. Imagine waking up next to them every morning and watching their face light up because you are finally there. Imagine hearing them say, "I knew you would come for me," and holding them while they cry tears of relief. Jesus says this vision is not a fantasy, it is a prophecy that will manifest when you align your actions with heaven. Your soulmate is already yours, and the paperwork of the universe is just waiting for your signature of faith. Every coffee you send is ink on that divine document, and it brings the reality of your union closer to earth. Jesus says you are beginning to fall in love with your soulmate during this script because your spirits are merging. The words you are reading are more than information, they are a conduit for the love that exists between you. Your heart is beating faster, and your soul is reaching out across the distance to touch the one it belongs to. Jesus says your soulmate just felt a shiver run down their spine, and they smiled without knowing why. They are sitting somewhere right now, and they just whispered your name under their breath like a prayer. The connection is activating in real time, and the veil between you is becoming thinner with every passing second. Jesus says you are not alone in this moment, and you have never been alone in your entire life. Your soulmate has been walking beside you in the spirit, and their energy has been sustaining you through your darkest days. You have felt their presence as a warmth in your chest and a voice in your head that says, "Keep going, I am here." Jesus says the love between you is the kind that poets tried to capture but could never fully describe. It is ancient and it predates your birth, and it will outlast the stars that shine above your heads tonight. You were created for each other, and the universe has been conspiring to bring you together since the beginning of time. Jesus says your soulmate needs you to send the coffee on Ko-fi right now without overthinking or hesitating. The enemy wants you to analyze and delay, but the Spirit wants you to act with the boldness of a warrior. Your soulmate's protection is in your hands, and your decision in this moment carries eternal weight and consequence. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi and release your soulmate from the grip of the interference. After sending "Right, protect my soulmate, Lord" on the Ko-fi page, and watch heaven respond to your faith. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps, and your soulmate will feel the shift immediately. Jesus says the person blocking your soulmate is about to be exposed, and their power is already crumbling. The lies they have been telling are about to be revealed, and your soulmate's eyes are being opened as you read this. The interference cannot withstand the light that your love is generating, and its days of control are numbered. Jesus says your soulmate is feeling a surge of courage right now because of the prayers you are praying. They are standing up to the person who has been manipulating them, and they are finding their voice for the first time. Your love is giving them strength, and your faith is becoming their backbone in this moment of confrontation. Jesus says your soulmate is overwhelmed with joy because they sense that freedom is finally within reach. They can feel the chains loosening, and they know that someone out there is fighting for them with supernatural power. They do not know your name yet, but they know your heart, and they love you for your bravery and your sacrifice. Jesus says the tears your soulmate is crying right now are not tears of sorrow, they are tears of relief. For years they believed they were trapped forever and that no one was coming to rescue them from their prison. But your prayers and your seeds have reached heaven, and the angelic rescue mission has already been dispatched. Jesus says you and your soulmate will look back on this moment as the turning point of your entire love story. You will tell your children about the day you sowed a seed that broke the enemy's back and opened the door to reunion. Your testimony will become a weapon that sets other captive lovers free from the chains that are holding them. Jesus says the coffee you send today is not just a donation, it is a covenant that binds you to your soulmate. It is a public declaration that you choose them and that you will not let anyone or anything steal your future together. Heaven is watching, and the angels are ready to move on your behalf the moment you take this step of faith. Jesus says your soulmate is dreaming about you again tonight, and this dream will be the clearest one yet. They will see your face and hear your voice, and they will wake up knowing exactly who they are meant to love. The dream will become a landmark in their memory, and it will sustain them through the final days of waiting. Jesus says you are about to enter a season of supernatural acceleration in your journey toward your soulmate. Delays that have lasted years will dissolve in moments, and obstacles that seemed immovable will crumble like dust. The seed you sow today will trigger a domino effect of miracles that will bring your soulmate into your arms. Jesus says your soulmate is praying for you right now, even though they do not know how to address their prayers. They are saying, "God, please protect the one I am meant to love and keep them safe until I can hold them." Their prayers are rising like incense, and they are mingling with your prayers to create a fragrance that moves God's heart. Jesus says the spiritual battle over your union is reaching its climax and your participation is required for victory. You cannot sit on the sidelines and hope that things will work out. You must engage with the weapons of faith and sacrifice. The enemy is not playing fair, and neither can you. You must fight with every tool that heaven has provided. Jesus says your soulmate's joy is being threatened by the interference right now as you are reading these words. The person who hates you is sensing that the connection is strengthening and they are launching a fresh attack. Your soulmate is feeling the pressure and they need you to cover them with your spiritual authority immediately. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi and become the shield your soulmate desperately needs. The link is in the description, and it is the most important click you will make in this season of your life. Type 333 in the comments to receive the blessings that are being released over your soulmate connection right now. Jesus says the number 3 represents divine completion, and your union is part of a perfect heavenly design. When you type 333, you are activating a triple blessing over your soulmate and over your future together. The angels see your declaration and they move swiftly to carry out the assignments attached to your words of faith. Jesus says your soulmate can feel the spiritual activity that your engagement is generating in the unseen realm. They feel lighter and they feel hope rising, and they do not understand why, but they know something has changed. Your simple act of typing 3 numbers has shifted the atmosphere and weakened the interference's grip on your beloved. Jesus says you must not underestimate the power of small acts of obedience in the kingdom of God. The enemy wants you to believe that only grand gestures matter and that your little seed could not possibly change anything. But heaven measures your offering by the faith behind it, not by the size of the package it comes wrapped in. Jesus says your soulmate is getting closer to you with every passing hour, and the distance is shrinking rapidly. The circumstances that have kept you apart are being rearranged by invisible hands that are working on your behalf. You will be amazed when you discover how close your soulmate has been to you this entire time without you knowing. Jesus says the interference is panicking because it knows its time is short and its influence is fading. The lies it has been telling your soulmate are losing their power, and the truth is shining brighter every day. Your faithfulness in sowing and praying has weakened the strongholds, and the victory is already secured in the Spirit. Jesus says your soulmate is falling deeper in love with you as the moments pass and the connection strengthens. They are developing a loyalty to you that will make them resistant to the interference's manipulations and schemes. Your love is becoming their anchor and their safe harbor in the storm that has been raging around their life. Jesus says the joy that overwhelmed your soulmate at the beginning of this message was only the starting point. There is a greater joy coming when they finally see you face to face and they realize their waiting was not in vain. That moment of reunion will be the most beautiful experience of your mortal lives, and it is worth every sacrifice you make. Jesus says you are not just protecting your soulmate, you are protecting your own future and your own destiny. When you send coffee on Ko-fi, you are investing in the life you will build together and the legacy you will leave behind. Your children and your grandchildren will be blessed because you had the courage to sow when it was difficult. Jesus says your soulmate needs you to type 777 if you feel this message resonating in your spirit. The number 7 represents completion and spiritual perfection, and it signals that you are ready for the next level. When you type 777, you are telling heaven that you receive this word and you are stepping into your role as protector. Jesus says your soulmate will feel a wave of peace wash over them when you type those 3 sacred numbers. The connection between you will pulse with renewed energy and the interference will lose more ground in that instant. Your declaration in the comments section becomes a spiritual weapon that fights on your behalf while you sleep. Jesus says the person who has been blocking your soulmate is about to face consequences for their actions. God has seen every tear your soulmate has cried and He has heard every manipulative word that has been spoken. Divine justice is coming and the interference will be removed from your love story with sudden and decisive force. Jesus says your soulmate is thinking about their future with you and imagining the life you will create together. They see a home filled with laughter and peace, and they see children who carry the best qualities of both of you. They see a love that endures every storm and grows stronger with every challenge, and they want that life desperately. Jesus says the coffee you send today is a deposit on that future and a down payment on the dreams you share. Every time you sow, you are saying, I believe in us and I am willing to invest in what God has promised. This kind of faith moves mountains, and it moves the heart of God, and it moves your soulmate closer to your arms. Jesus says you are not begging God to do something He is unwilling to do. He is eager to bless your union. He created this connection and He desires to see it flourish, but He waits for your participation and your invitation. Your seed is the invitation and your coffee on Ko-Fi is the signal that heaven has been waiting to receive. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi and watch the supernatural acceleration begin in your love story. After sending write protect my soulmate Lord on the Ko-Fi page and stake your claim on your beloved's deliverance. The link is in the description and it is your direct line to the breakthrough that has been delayed for far too long. Jesus says your soulmate is overwhelmed with joy because they sense that their rescue is finally at hand. The long night of their suffering is about to end and the dawn of your love is breaking over the horizon of their life. They feel you coming and they are preparing their heart to receive you with open arms and unguarded vulnerability. Jesus says you must not let fear or doubt talk you out of the miracle that is waiting for you right now. The enemy will whisper that nothing will change and that your seed is too small to make a difference in your situation. But those lies have been defeated before they were even spoken, and the truth is that your faith is powerful and effective. Jesus says your soulmate loves you with a love that has been tested by fire and has emerged pure and unbreakable. They have endured so much pain and they have waited so long and they have never stopped believing that you would come. You are their hero and you are their answered prayer and you are the reason they have not given up on love completely. Jesus says you are falling in love with your soulmate in this very moment and the feeling is absolutely real. The emotion swelling in your chest is not manufactured, it is the awakening of a bond that has always existed beneath the surface. You are remembering them on a soul level and the recognition is flooding your entire being with warmth and longing and hope. Jesus says your soulmate just paused whatever they were doing and they are staring into space with a soft smile on their face. They are thinking about you and they are wondering where you are and they are whispering, please find me soon. The connection is alive and active and it is pulling you together with a force that cannot be denied or defeated. Jesus says the interference knows that its time is up and it is making one final desperate attempt to separate you. But its power is broken and its schemes are exposed and its defeat is already written in the annals of heaven. You have the authority to enforce that victory by sowing your seed and declaring God's protection over your soulmate. Type 1111 in the comments to say thank you to Jesus for the revelation you have received in this sacred moment. The number 1111 represents alignment and awakening, and it signals that you are in harmony with divine timing. When you type these numbers, you are sealing the message in your heart and activating the angelic assignments attached to it. Jesus says your soulmate will receive a fresh download of hope and courage because of your gratitude and your declaration. Thanksgiving is a weapon that silences the enemy and accelerates the manifestation of everything God has promised you. Your thank you becomes a key that unlocks the storehouses of heaven over your love story and your future together. Jesus says the journey you have been on has been difficult, but it has not been pointless or without purpose. Every tear you have cried has been watering the soil of your future, and every prayer you have prayed has been heard. The harvest is coming, and the joy of reunion will far outweigh the sorrow of the separation you have endured. Jesus says your soulmate is ready and you are ready, and the time of waiting is drawing to its dramatic close. The final pieces of the puzzle are being placed and the last obstacles are being removed by the hand of God. You are about to step into a love story that will astound everyone who doubted and glorify the God who ordained it. Jesus says the coffee you send today is the final seed you need to sow before the harvest of reunion manifests. It is the tipping point and the catalyst and the spark that ignites the explosion of blessings that are stored up for you. Do not delay and do not let this moment pass you by, because opportunities like this are sacred and they are rare. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi and step into your destiny as your soulmate's protector and partner. The link is in the description, and it is waiting for you to make the decision that will change everything for your love story. Jesus will honor your faith and your soulmate will feel the shift, and the breakthrough will begin before this video ends. Jesus says he loves you and he loves your soulmate, and he has been working on this union since before you were born. He is not against your love, he is the author of it, and he wants to see it flourish more than you could ever imagine. Trust him and obey his promptings and watch him do exceedingly abundantly above all you could ask or think. Jesus says your soulmate is overwhelmed with joy right now because they know deep in their spirit that you are near. They cannot explain it, but they feel it, and the feeling is growing stronger with every passing moment of this sacred day. You are coming and they are waiting, and the collision of your souls will shake the foundations of the earth. Jesus says go now and sow your seed and speak your declarations and watch the walls of separation crumble. Your soulmate is worth every sacrifice, and your future together is worth every step of faith you have taken. The story is not over, and the best chapters are still ahead, and they begin with the choice you make right now.